no sunshine, Tracy's gone. House just ain't no home anytime.
So before I even wrote this poem that I'm about to share, I sat down with my pen in my hand for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Then second guessed myself, like, maybe I got this time wrong because it just seems too long for a man to have a knee to his neck. So I checked time again on impulse, pulse racing, chasing a logical explanation for the asphyxiation of another black man at the hands of the men in blue who swore to protect and serve. I heard the man say he couldn't breathe. Now, to me, logically, that means breath couldn't quite reach his lungs. He hung on to their life as long as he could. But when the weight of the world's wicked ways weighs down on your throat, you would choke too. Rest in peace, George Floyd, gone too soon. And it seems like this happens too often. They off 10 in the last couple of months, like an aunt, Atiana Jefferson. We learned her name after she was killed in her own home playing video games with her nephew who had to watch his aunt die at the hands of who he thought were the good guys. I tried to make sense of this. Like, can someone please explain to me how an EMT can be SLEEP in her own home, then shot after shot for no knock warranted police to enter in the middle of the night? I fight to find justification for that situation. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor, gone too soon. It's so messed up we live in a society where in so many cases like Khalif Browder's were treated guilty until proven innocent. With no evidence, even evidence, somehow we're still prime suspect. The system is backwards and broken. And I'm not joking or jiving when I say simply for riding with an improper signal can give off a signal for a cop to hold you for an hour-long traffic stop. Enough was enough when I saw my sister body slammed in handcuffs and placed under arrest. And yes, I can attest with Sandra Bland's family that was such an unnecessary tragedy. But you see, when in broad daylight for a broken taillight, a brother named Walter Scott can be shot in the back on video with evidence planted, should finally show what we perceived as straight is actually slanted and as crooked as some of these politicians. And through repetition, time and time again, we're losing our black men to the pen, not for the offense, but at the hands of a great conviction rate. Prosecutor turns persecutor. If you don't have enough money for bond and you're merely a pawn in this game, well, we are the weakest pieces. You see, Black Lives Matter and start tiptoeing on that fine line around the time they introduce court fines and minimum sentencing guidelines. And how is it that the time we get is always what we deserve, but same predicament, different pigment gets them off with time served? It's just not fair. But you see, fairness took his last breath asking for reprieve using the words, "I can't breathe," by Eric Gardner. Another brother whose only crime was selling short Newports, no weapon. Mike Brown gunned down. Trayvon Martin and Tamir Rice, whatever they did, they were still some kids who deserved to live. If Black Lives Matter. Then why are our hearts being shattered as our ashes are still being scattered into the winds of injustice? I want y'all to take a second and close your eyes. Do it, close your eyes. Now imagine you've been confined to an 8x5 for the last 30 years of your life. Now take a deep breath. What if I told you your sentence was death for a crime you did not do? Look up the story, it's really true. See, right here in Alabama, Anthony Ray Hinton could have been any one of you. And that's as real as a man's misappeals for not copping to a plea deal if Black Lives Matter. If Black Lives Matter, then Laquan McDonald would have received one less bullet in his body than he did the number of candles on his last birthday cake. And as we lay in the wake of the Flint water tragedies, these modern day catastrophes from Freddie Gray back to the Genesis, it literally makes me sick to my stomach to feel I even have to pin this. But if Black Lives Matter, then someone please explain to me why our hearts are still being shattered as our ashes are still being scattered. And that's that piece, JP the Poet.